is here. Yes, 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 yes. Today is the day. The Police Academy Blueprint is now available for you on the school app. Right? Hold on. Let me, you know what? The let me drop the link in the chat real quick for you. Let me drop the link in the chat because it's here. It's here. There's no need to wait. There is no need to wait. We are ready to go. We're ready to go. Welcome, welcome to our official release date of the Police Academy Blueprint. This is our Black Friday Police Academy prep, and we're talking oral interviews. Yes, we are. We're talking oral interviews. And you know what? I got my Jack Skellington on because we're going to get rid of that nightmare before Christmas. We're going to get rid of it with our Police Academy prep for oral interviews today. I want to thank you all for joining me. If you haven't been here before, let me just catch you up to speed. Here on the Hughes Initiative's TikTok Lives, we usually do this Thursdays at noon. But this was a special section. We had to do this today because not only do we have the TikTok Live tonight about oral interviews, we have the official release of the Police Academy Blueprint. The URL is pinned at the top of the conversations. And you know what? I struggled to go back and forth about how to do this thing. But here's what I want for you. As we continue to build the Police Academy prep step by step, day by day, I wanted to let you all have access to it so you can look around, so you can see what's in there, so you can see where we're headed. So there's a 7-day free trial. Come on in. Come on under the wing of your boy RC. Let's build this community together. And let's have some fun with this Police Academy process. Let's not let this thing overtake us. Let's not let it make us nervous and lose sleep and build anxiety. No. Let us dominate this Police Academy process. And then we get to the academy and we dominate the academy. And then once we graduate the academy, we dominate our first year as a cop. Oh, come on now. Y'all ain't got y'all's copy of Dominate Your First Year as a Cop with you? You ain't got it yet? Right here. Dominate Your First Year as a Cop. You better go pick that up. It's in the TikTok shop. It is in the TikTok shop for you. So you better go get it. All right. Again, welcome. If you're just joining us, thank you for joining us tonight. We got the official Jack Skellington on. Come on. We got the official Jack Skellington on. Dominate Your First Year as a Cop is available in the TikTok shop or on the website www.hi-teachers.com. Y'all know what it is. And I want to do a quick reset with everyone that's here tonight. I know we've been going through a couple of these lives. We've been touching on a couple different topics. But in the comments, if you're in the process or starting the process, what part of the process are you in? Let me know where you are. What part of the police process are you in right now? I want to thank everybody who's joining. Again, if you're here, that means you want to learn something about the Police Academy process because the Lord has put it on your heart to become a police officer. And that's what I'm here for. I've done the process. I've helped multiple people through the process. Like, I'm the authority that you're looking for. I'm the voice calling out in the wilderness to you. Hey, you're this way, over here, the Hughes Initiative. Thank you in the background process now. Oh, I love the background process. I can't wait to do our live review of the background process. I think I spoke about it last week. That thing is so freeing when you are a person who lives to be accountable, right? This Police Academy process, this is one of the greatest ways to grow as a person because every aspect of your life is kind of gone through with a fine-tooth comb. And if you aren't someone who says like, woe is me, or they don't like me, then when you go through the process and you have these conversations with people, then you learn from it. You grow from it. You say, okay, I made these decisions. These were bad decisions. As I try to be the best person that I can be. These are bad decisions. How can I grow? How can I not make these decisions? That's why I love the police academy process, because that's what it did for me. Who else? Where you're from? What part of the process are you in? Tank, tell us a little bit about the police academy background process that you're in now. What have they said to you? What are they asking you? I got followers in here from posts. I love it. Dosha, is it Dosha? Dasha. Currently 11 weeks in the academy. It's the best thing ever. I'm trying to tell you, when you go into the academy with the right mindset and the right level of confidence, it is not a hard thing. I went to the academy. I had an absolutely great time. And I'll tell you what I loved. I love the structure and I love the environment. I'll be honest with you. As someone who went in when I was well past 25, you're not going to get too many opportunities to get yourself in better shape than you will at a police academy, because that's what the environment is conducive for. Like, I went to an academy where you had to live there. So we was there. You could go home on the weekends if it was your weekend, but I lived there and I loved it. I loved it, right? You block out all the other noise and just focus on that. If you're in the academy, let me know or if you're in the process, let us know what step you are in the process. I'm telling you, inside of the Hughes Initiative Academy on the school app, you see the top comment. That's where you go, 7-day free trial for the Hughes Initiative Academy. We have plenty of conversation topic posts, plenty of topics where you can talk about every step. Written test, oral interview, background, polygraph, med psych. The Jig family's in the background process. What's the matter, baby? 2021. I'm in week 2 of the academy. I love it. I love to hear it. Listen, I'm telling y'all right now. If you're in here and you're unsure about becoming a police officer, even though the Lord has put it on your heart, so I know you have no real peace, there's people in here right now that are telling you they're in the academy and they are loving it. Tell us why you love the academy. Dasha, I know you saying you get paid to work out and better yourself. That's a part of it. You find a department that's going to pay for you to go to the academy. You get paid to exercise and learn. Another big draw for me. Like, I have a degree in criminal justice, but I wanted to learn how to utilize it in the best way I could. So I was excited to go to the police academy for the education. Papi Chulo, you say, how can I get a cop book? Somebody better tell him. It's in the TikTok shop. It's in the TikTok shop right now. Go to the TikTok shop, get you a copy of, let me get it back up here. Dominate your first year as a cop. Come on, there's only one resource in the world. There's only one, and it's right here in my hands, and it can be in yours within a few days. Go get your copy. Start the year off right. Tank, 2 days ago, I received the package to be filled out, which I done, which you did already. Now I'm just waiting for the next. I love the academy. It's an amazing network of opportunities and wealth of knowledge. It's beautiful. Being a police officer, I'm telling you right now, is beautiful. There's tons of people who speak negatively about the industry. They talk poorly about law enforcement. I'm not one of those people. That's not what you find here, because it's really all about mindset, how you approach it, right? It's really all about mindset and how you approach it. How are you looking at this thing? Inside of the ear model, which there is a version of it inside of the Hughes Initiative Academy that you can watch for free. Right now, 7-day trial, you can watch it for free. We talk about those police officers, those people. We consider them to be Eddie Brock / Venom type people that are a cancer to the industry. We talk about that. Y'all watching me, but you got to get inside of the Hughes Initiative Academy It's pinned at the top comment. Go ahead, copy that, paste it in your browser, go to the About page, start the free trial. Get in. Get in, leave a comment. Make yourself at home. Stay. I open my door to you. I open my home to you. The Hughes Initiative Academy. 7-day free trial right now. Right? Go ahead and get in there. Y'all got me off top. I'm so hyped. I'm so glad to have everybody here. If you're new to the Hughes Initiative live TikTok reviews, this is what we do. Every step of the process we cover. This Black Friday, we are talking about oral interviews in our Police Academy prep. What they're looking for. It's not so much about what you say, it's more about how you say it. Right? That's the honest to goodness truth about it. But before we go any further, let us pray. Let us pray. We have our regular prayer, but let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for waking us up this day and giving us the first blessing of the day. And because you gave us that blessing, then we know that it is our purpose. You have called us to spread the good news and to be an example of what your Son Jesus Christ was like here on earth. We thank you for bringing everyone into this live. We thank you for those in the academy. We pray for their health. We pray for them to have their minds continuously opened up so that they can receive the knowledge and that they can graduate from the academy and become a Hughes Initiative police officer. Yes, Lord, this is what we pray for. We pray for success. We pray for growth. We pray for peace. We pray for those who are convicted, who are not listening to what you have called them to do, Lord, to find us tonight and to take the step and to let us help them get to that next step and that next level, which is that of a police officer. Not only a police officer, but a Hughes Initiative police officer. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you again for joining. If you're new here, you come to the right place. If the Lord has put it on your heart to become a police officer, you come to the right place. All right? Oral interviews. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let me stop y'all for a second. I'm super hyped. I got this 2-screen setup. So I got y'all right here, and I got the oral interview stuff right here. Listen, I get double the work done. I love it. Let's go. Oral interviews. Welcome to class. Welcome to the Hughes Initiative Academy Prep. Welcome. On today's agenda, we talk about understand the purpose. Understand the purpose of the oral interview. We're not just preparing for questions, we're understanding why boards ask them and what they're really listening for. When you understand that, your answers change completely, and that is true. We have several examples of what to do. We have examples of what not to do and what not to say. Structure your answers. I listened to Patrick David Bett talk about processes and systems early on when I started the Hughes Initiative, and I really didn't understand what he was trying to say to me, or what he was trying to say in general. Right? You have to have systems in place. I do a lot of this work on my own for you all, and I have to have it structured because, like I've said before, I'm just the squirrel from Ice Age. If you've ever seen Ice Age, that's how it works up in here. It's like here. Structure, discipline, processes. If that's you, you come to the right place because I'm someone that's familiar with it. You structure your answers. Good answers are not random. They're built. We're going to break down how to organize your thoughts so you don't ramble like me. Freeze or leave your best points unsaid. If you're just now getting in here, then let us know what step of the process you're in. Even if you're just still unsure about taking that first step, you scroll through some of these comments, you will hear people who have taken the steps in the academy, loving the academy. Let us know where you are. Perform with confidence. Boards just don't hear words. They feel your presence. Come on. You got to walk in there like you're prepared. As a police officer, you can smell it. I'm telling you, you can smell it when someone's unsure about what they're saying. They don't believe it. You can smell it. I'll show you how to communicate clearly, control your nerves, and deliver without sounding over-rehearsed. There's a difference. There's a difference between practicing it and over-practicing it, right? Because when you over-practice it, then there's no presence to it. It's like you're reading. It's like you're reading like that, like a robot, which we don't want. We want police officers who flow in and out of situations, who can match conversations. Ooh, that's deep. Matching conversation, the matching principle. Y'all not even ready for that, but I'm gonna give it to y'all. I'm gonna give you a matching principle. I learned it. I use it. I love it. And it's not just, right? It's not just in law enforcement. When you learn the matching principle and when you learn to be yourself and have that confidence as a police officer, you take it into your personal life and you resolve situations with great ease because that extra pressure is not necessarily there as it would be if you were on the job, right? I talk about this all the time. It is the animal kingdom as a police officer. This is true, and this is what you will find. There is very little room for mistakes out there. In fact, if you make a mistake or you hesitate or you make the wrong decision, it could cost you your career, but more importantly, it could cost you your life. But this is an element that makes law enforcement the world's most dangerous job, irregardless of what anyone may say or what other numbers may say. Other industries have standards and they have guidelines and oversight. At 2 o'clock in the morning, at 2 p.m., at 8 a.m., you make a traffic stop. It's just you and that person. And whatever their intention is, they already have the drop on you, so to speak, because they've thought about it. You don't know what they're thinking. They're thinking about it right now. You're walking up to the car as tactically sound as you can. But sometimes the other person has the advantage. If you're new here, hold up. Yep. If you're new here, tell us where you are in the process. Tell us where you are in the process. Let us know. All right, let's keep going. Welcome to class, everyone. I'm RC, your police education coach, your biggest cheerleader, your biggest supporter, and your guide through the police academy process and through the academy and through your first year and beyond. I will not leave you. I will not fail you. I am always here for you. If you have not already, then the top comment that is pinned, I'm telling you, the top comment that is pinned is the link to the Hughes Initiative Academy. You got to get in there. You got to get in there, right? I want to build a community that you can always come back to. Tell us your successes. Tell us your challenges. You don't fail unless you quit. There's hurdles that have to be gone over. There's hills that have to be climbed. There's mountains that have to be walked around. And inside of this community, I want us to be able to share the different paths that you have to take to find success when you do face something that is a challenge, right? Tank, thank you. Amen. Amen. Let's go. All right. I done told you about 15 times already. I'll continue to tell you again. The Police Academy Blueprint is available on the school app. School app. School got an app and a website, whichever one you want. It's available on the school platform. This is our new community. This is where you'll find me more times than you'll find me on TikTok. And I'm on TikTok pretty often. But you'll find me in the school, inside the schoolhouse of the Hughes Initiative Academy all the time. You'll find this is a live recorded version of the ear model, right? I travel the country doing the ear model in police academies and for police departments. Right here for you, 7-day free trial. Go and watch that thing. Go and see what it's about. You've heard about it. Now you get to see about it. The Citizens Police Education Program will also be inside of the Hughes Initiative Academy. It will also be there. Let's go. Y'all know how I get down. This is where I reset. This is where I come to balance. We learned that in football. This is where I come to balance. This is where I show you who I am and what I'm made of and what has driven me to this point. And that's being obedient to the Lord's message. Our prayer comes from my favorite book of the Bible, Jeremiah. My favorite book of the Bible, Jeremiah. On a Jeremiah type journey is how I always explain what I'm doing here with the Hughes Initiative. I got a ministry, don't nobody want. Because I go to law enforcement and say, these are the challenges that we need to address. I have a way to address them. If you don't address them, then ruin will come to you naturally. In the same breath, I turn to American citizens and say, these are the challenges These are the things that will lead to you getting arrested, having force used against you, making you look silly on camera because you don't know your rights. You swear on everything you love that you do, but you don't. I go to both sides. I stand in the middle because I want to see a better connection between two different groups. That's law enforcement and that's American citizens, with the understanding that police officers are still American citizens. We just have a job to do sometimes. This is why. This is the Jeremiah type journey I'm on. And our today's prayer on today, as my sister would say, on today comes from Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. Oh, it's one of my favorites. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. We talk about this weekly. The Lord, think of a little factory. The Lord where he builds us and says, RC's going to be a police officer. What's the matter, baby? 2021 is going to be a police officer. Pop, on the conveyor belt. Send it up to your parents. Birth you. Bring you forth. The enemy, knowing that your success will be in law enforcement, says, I got to stop this. How do I stop this? Let me throw abandonment issue on them. Let me get rid of one of the parents. Let me get rid of both parents. Let me throw some poverty on here. See if they can overcome that. Let me introduce them to some illegal narcotics or some inappropriate relationships at an early age. Let me introduce them to homelessness at an early age. Let me see if I can stop them. But the Lord says, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you hope and a future, plans to prosper you. When you find yourself finally in alignment with what the Lord has called you to do, listen to me, when you find yourself in alignment with what the Lord has called you to do, the plans to prosper you start to develop and take form and take hold in your life. You have to understand this very closely. You have to be in alignment with what the Lord has called you to do. It's a two-part thing, being in alignment and being obedient, right? Put yourself in position. Listen to what the Lord is saying to you right now on this live. You watching me, and the Lord has been telling you weeks, months, years, get into law enforcement. You say, like the dude off Instagram. I don't want to do that. I don't want to give up these things that make me feel comfortable. I don't want to face these challenges that come with it. I don't want to do that. And so you find no peace and you find challenges. You find yourself working at places that don't fulfill you, that don't bring you any type of enjoyment because you are misaligned. The police academy process really is about obedience. Because if you are obedient to the Lord, then these things that are usually red flags and get people kicked out of the process are not things that you'll have to deal with. But sometimes we only learn that after going through the process once. Sometimes you have to go through it twice. I'm sure there's people in here who have to go through it twice. For those of you who are just joining, welcome. Welcome. We're breaking down the oral interviews in tonight's live Police Academy Prep Black Friday. The Hughes Initiative Academy is available for you. Top comments, pin, click, copy, paste the URL, get in there, 7-day free trial. I want you walking into the room confident, calm, and prepared. Confident, calm, and prepared when you go to this oral interview. Those men and women that are sitting on these panels, on these boards, when you walk in there nervous, they're going to know it. And that's one of the challenges. We'll talk about it tonight. If you're nervous in there, what you going to be like on the streets? Whether you're in a trailer park, whether you're in the projects, what you going to be like on the traffic stop when somebody gives you some verbal resistance? Huh? You want the full Police Academy blueprint? Hughes Initiative Academy, school platform. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. When you are in alignment with what the Lord is calling you to do, you will have hope. right? Because you'll be challenged inside of law enforcement. You have the correct mindset. You have me. You have this community leading you to a better future. There's always work to be done. A moment of transparency. I just had a conversation with my wife. Tough conversation with my wife. For me. Where I have to take accountability and say, you know what? I'm not the greatest teacher that I can be. I'm not the greatest communicator that I could be. Because she learns a different way than the way that I'm presenting to her. She understands a different way than the way that I'm presenting to her. So I have to learn to present it to her in the way in which she grasps it. That's what I have to do for you all. If you're watching, please share the live. Right? But understand, when we talk about communications, that's one of the things I love the most. That's one of my priorities, to be able to convey the message so that more than just one person can understand it. Personally, not even so much dealing with you all, but personally, in my own personal life, my wife, my children, my family, my friends, those people that I interact with as a police officer. So there's growth to be done with your boy RC as well, and I'm not afraid of it. I'm here for it. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. Go ahead and highlight that in your Bibles if you have the text with you. I keep the text close to me at all times. I keep it close to me at all times. This is where the guidance comes from. Understand, when you see me, do not be perplexed. Do not be confused about who I am. I am simply a vessel who stays obedient best I can on a daily basis. That is a challenge, to allow the Lord to use me in the way that he sees fit. That was one of our verses previously. All right? Think about it. The success that you find. We talked about the conveyor belt and what the Lord has for you as plans to prosper you. The success that you find is when you are obedient and in alignment with the Lord. All right, let's go. Let's get into this. What the oral interview really is. What it really is. Not what you think it is. What it really is. It isn't knowledge, it's pressure. Pressure builds diamonds, right? As Eric Thomas would say. Pressure builds diamonds. It tests judgment, not facts. Measures communication under stress. Exposes emotional control or the lack thereof. It reveals maturity and self-awareness, and it predicts real-world performance. That's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it's about. Pressure. Can you handle the pressure of this situation that you're faced with right now, this panel of people, or maybe one person? Can you handle the pressure? Can you deal with it? Because if you cannot deal with it here, you are not going to be able to deal with it on the streets. That's not how that works. You don't fumble through this interview, do terrible, and then get hired and go out there and miraculously become better. No. And you don't fumble through the interview. You don't ramble through the interview. Communication is poor under stress, and then get on a traffic stop with someone who is verbally resistant, like a sovereign citizen or someone who's having a bad day, and then miraculously you are stress-free, and now you just communicate like the best of us. No. You stumble in the interview, you're going to stumble on the street, and like I told you before, this is the animal kingdom. These people that sit on these panels, these seasoned police officers who have sat on a panel after panel, they know what a good candidate looks like. They can smell it on the streets. That weakness, that uncertainty can be smelled as well by those who intend to overcome you. Somebody say, one of these police officers in here say I'm lying. Somebody tell me I'm not telling the truth. They can't say it because it is the truth. Share this live if you're with us. Welcome to those who are just joining us. We appreciate you being here. Share the live. Share it. Let them know what's going on. You got to download the Police Academy Blueprint, the free PDF as well, to get on that email list, to get updated about the things that we have going on. The oral interview is about pressure. It's about judgment. It's about communication under stress. It exposes emotional control. This is what the EAR model is about. School platform, the EAR model is inside of it. You can watch it right now. You can watch it. Let me know what you think. You can watch it. Emotional control. Do you have the ability to not get triggered? Do you have the ability to not get triggered by a stranger? Because when you get triggered, what we're talking about is something from your past coming to the forefront. Some pain you felt in the past coming to the forefront, and it's setting you off. Think about that in your personal life. Who has the ability to trigger your ego in your life? Who has the ability to trigger your ego in your life? In my life, all day, it's my wife. Love her to death. She knows the right buttons to press on your boy RC, and I have to challenge myself every time that happens to not be triggered. Because I love my wife. This is my best friend in the entire world. She's not coming from a place with the intent to hurt me. She is better than me in some areas. I'm more successful in some areas than her. We are a reflection of each other. It's really mentorship, which is the same thing I said today. It's really mentorship. I take instruction from her because she knows more about certain things. I don't get triggered. But we see it in relationships because we see it on these domestic violence calls. Somebody gets triggered by something that somebody said, not because they said it, but because of something they've experienced in the past. These oral interviews are going to test your emotional control, for certain. It reveals maturity and self-awareness. They talk about a lot of young people joining law enforcement, which I encourage. But there is a level of maturity that has to be had because listen to me. You could be in the academy, you could be in the process, you could just now be starting law enforcement. You ain't even read dominate your first year as a cop. There's a level of maturity that has to be had that you don't have to have in a lot of other places because you are given two of the greatest powers, if not the greatest powers in this country. The first one is to restrict the freedom of American citizens when you feel you have enough to do so. There have been hundreds of thousands, millions of people who have fought for this here freedom. For you to be able to get in your car, drive to Walmart, go to the gas station, come back home, to be able to go out to the park with your dog, to be able to visit your friends. There have been millions of people who have fought for you to have this freedom. And now, as a police officer, you have the authority to take that away from someone. That's why you have to be mature, because this is not a game. That's one thing. The other one is this, which is even greater. If you see or deem it necessary, you are authorized to take the life of another human being. Let that sit with you for a second. You are authorized to take the life of another human being as a police officer. This is why this is the world's most dangerous job, because nobody else has that authority. In a millisecond, you're authorized. A split second decision, you're authorized to take the life of another human being. Oh, with great power comes great responsibility. There's a level of maturity that is necessary. Not everybody has that level of maturity to be a police officer. Can you get there? We can work with you to a certain degree. But for some people, you'll never have it. And so we focus on that as well inside of the Hughes Initiative Academy. It's that maturity and self-awareness. That self-awareness is a big piece too. Are you self-aware enough to know that you have these authorities and to make the decisions that would not bring shame not only to you and your family, but for the department that has taken and given you the opportunity to be a police officer? Are you self-aware enough? If you're here, share the live. If you're new, you're just getting in here, let us know what step of the process you are in. And it predicts real world performance, which is what I just said. It predicts real world performance. Can you perform here in this structure controlled environment? Right? History, a lot of times, is the greatest teacher. It's the greatest predictor of future outcomes. You struggle here, Struggle there, right? And so what we try to do is to remove that struggle and to give you that confidence to walk into these oral interviews and absolutely dominate them. Like, you want your reviewers after you walk out like, you know what? I don't know where he learned it from or where she learned it from, but that sure enough was a good interview. And if they ask you, you tell them, I learned it through the Hughes Initiative Academy on the school platform, hosted by RC, #1 police instructor in the world. If you can't think clearly here, you won't think clearly in the field. If your mind is jumbled here, it'll be jumbled out there. I'll give you an example. I told you I'm like the squirrel from Ice Age. Right? Back and forth, front right, left back. I'm like that. When I started going to crash investigations, when I first started on my own after coach, I could not get it. Right? I could not see how it happened. I didn't have a system in place of how I was going to run the investigation. It was a mess. Over the course of time, though, I developed a system, and that process helped me to think clearly about the questions that I needed to ask of the parties involved, because there are questions you have to ask. You just, what you say, you walk up to somebody and say, what happened? They're going to tell you what benefits them. They don't want, the main thing when it comes to crash investigations, little sidebar, the main thing is people don't want to be deemed at fault. So they'll say, oh, this person just came out of nowhere, rear-ended me, and then I spun out and hit this car. What they won't tell you is that they changed lanes with no signal in front of somebody, and they end up getting rear-ended. And they were truly at fault. But you have to ask those questions. But you have to be clear-minded. And it's intimidating. Anybody in here who's a police officer can tell you, it's intimidating when you first start. And if they don't tell you, then you know that their ego is super high. Right? They don't want to admit the truth. It's intimidating when you first start as a police officer. Going to these crashes, going to these different calls for service. You have to be able to think through these things quickly on your feet at times. Right? Clear here, clear there. Unclear here, unclear out there. That's how it works. What the panel is actually scoring. This is how they score it. Communication, your ability to convey your thoughts verbally. Judgment, are you making quality, sound decisions? We talk about that, self-awareness. Ethics. Integrity, really is a better word for that. Integrity. Do you have a high level of integrity? And we all know integrity is doing the right thing when no one's looking. Professionalism. Do not be persuaded or led astray by some of the creators that you see online. They give you a false sense of what it's like out here, right? There's a time and place for fun, but professionalism it's a paramount, right? This is what you start with. This is where it has to be. Take the job serious, because the job will take you. It seriously will. I just gave y'all a bar right there. Y'all better write that down. Take the job serious, or the job will take you. Seriously, it will. And then officer presence. It's one of my favorite things, but it's a term that I absolutely despise. Officer presence. Because I don't believe that's a real thing. What it is really is a confidence. Self-confidence. Confidence in yourself. Do you have the confidence in yourself to approach this situation and handle it accordingly, irregardless of what may need to be done? Officer presence, you don't have to tell anybody a police officer. You're showing up in a uniform in a marked car. Everybody knows you're the cop on scene. That's officer presence. Do you have the confidence to get out of that car, treat people with respect, not try to intimidate them to get them to comply? Do you have the confidence to do that, to talk to people at the level that they're at without profanity in an effort to connect with them? That's true officer presence there. That's true officer presence. When they walk away from the conversation, or they get handcuffed and arrested and put in a car, they still have respect for you. Do you have the ability to treat people like human beings? And also this, which I talk about a lot, the understanding that you yourself, my friend, are only missing one or two blessings from possibly being in the position that they are in. The Lord was kinder to you because of the decisions that you made in life to put you in this position. But if things had gone awry, or you had made a wrong decision, you could be where this person is right now. And some of us have been in those positions where other people are. RC wasn't always a police officer. No. That is not the case. In fact, when I first became a police officer, I struggled a lot with having to arrest people from different socioeconomic classes. Because I'm like, oh, that was me, 6, 7, 8 years ago. I was in the same position 6, 7, 8 years ago. I struggle with that. Can you connect with people in that way? If you're just joining, welcome. Let us know what step of the process that you're in. Let us know how you're feeling about it. I encourage you to copy and paste the top comment. I'm telling you, copy and paste the top comment. Go to the Hughes Initiative Academy. Get in. It's hosted on the school platform. Make your profile. Get in. Answer one of the top comments that's posted there. And let's go. Here's my formula for answering these questions. We talk about processes. Acknowledge the situation. And this is for life as well when you're having communications with other people, right? Somebody says something to you. One of the best things you can do is acknowledge what they just said to you. That way they know that you're listening. Acknowledge the situation. Show you understand what's happening without exaggerating it. Keep it plain. Identify the core issue. Explain the real problem, not just the surface drama. Explain what this shows a level of understanding that some people struggle with, right? When you're given a situation, the ability to dive deep in. Don't overthink it, because sometimes we get ahead of ourselves. We overthink things. Don't overthink it, but identify what the real issue is. What's the core issue here? This is what these oral interview questions are designed for. Apply safety, judgment, and awareness. Number one key when you're responding to these questions is to respond to them as a civilian. They're not looking for a police response. What would you do as a police officer is not what they're looking for. Charlie Charcraft 4. I have a panel interview for my county next week. Should I study my zone or the whole county? A panel interview for, like, you talking about an oral interview? If that's what you're talking about, and have they said they're going to ask you a question about the geography of the place? Because that's much simpler than getting into the minutia of the entire county. Deputy Sheriff. Okay. Charlie, what are they asking you? We'll take a sidebar here because we answer questions inside of the live. A panel interview for my county next week. You're asking me, should you study your zone or the whole county? In what aspects, in what regards are you asking that question? Because that's what I want to know. That's what we want to know. Because that's what everybody here is for. We're here to figure out how to do this thing. So we'll keep going. Charlie, give us the answer when you get a chance. Apply safety, judgment, and awareness. Think like a civilian who knows danger exists and respects the limits of their role. Think like a civilian. You're not a superhero. You're not a police officer. That's not how they want these questions to be answered. Like, as we go through our oral interview questions, because we got some mock questions in here for you. This is what you stick around for. This is what you're here for. You're not going to find this nowhere else. We'll see how to answer these questions with the Hughes Initiative answer formula. You end with a clear and confident goal. What's the safe and responsible outcome you're aiming for? Clear and confident goal. Not, well, I'm not sure what I would do here. Nope. Because that's not what you do on the streets. That's not what you do on the streets. That's not what you do. You make a decision and you go with it. In football, we learned it this way. I'd rather see you make a mistake at 100% than at 50%. And how that looks on the football field is, right, as say you're a linebacker. You didn't get the call. So you think you're supposed to blitz. I'd rather you just blitz and just go. I'd rather you just go than to like hesitate and just stand there and then maybe blitz late. Nope. Just go. Luis Hello, can I enroll myself into a police academy in the state of Florida? Can you? Can you enroll yourself into a police academy in the state of Florida? Somebody from Florida may be able to tell you whether you can go yourself. I would tell you this. Find an apartment that's going to pay for you to go to the academy and go that route. Don't make this thing hard. Keep it simple. There are plenty of fine law enforcement organizations in the state of Florida that would take you, right? That would at least let you start the process. You get through the process. We'll get you through the process. We'll help you as best we can. But there's no reason for you to try to put yourself through, right? I live in Pennsylvania. I tell people all the time, they say, oh, RC, I want to become a police officer. Pennsylvania State Police is hiring. No college degree required. They pay for you to go to the academy. You live there. After 27 weeks, you become one of the first and the finest, right? You become one of the first and the finest since 1905. Don't make it hard. Every state has a state police agency. Go there. Greater opportunity, easier to get into, as opposed to a small department that may be hiring one. You know, these large departments, they're putting 50, 100 through an academy at a time. You got a better shot. Go that route, right? Because at a minimum, what you do is you go there, you get the training, you get the certification, and then it's like college football. You find somewhere else if you don't like it. And you already have everything, and you've had probably the highest level of training that your state has to offer. Tank is from Florida. He'll tell you. Charlie, the email said it was Zone 2B, or Zone 2B, so I was wondering if I should study Zone 2 or all 5 zones. Know Zone 2 the best, have a general understanding of the other 5. That's what you do. Know that zone specifically, because that's where you are. That's what it said. Right? Take the email at its face value, but know the other ones as well. Louis said, I applied for County Corrections Deputy. I'm just waiting for a call back. County Corrections. I love corrections officers too. Is that what the Lord is calling you for? Is the Lord called you to be a county corrections, or are you just trying to short stroke it and not go into actual law enforcement in that way? Because what's stopping you from becoming a police officer? Because it's going to be similar in some ways, not the entire way, but it's going to be similar. Louis, what's stopping you becoming a police officer? Go ahead and do it. All right, let's get back to this HI answer formula. I love y'all. I love the connection that y'all have. Listen, if you're new here, you're just coming in to the live, let us know what step of the process you're in. If you have not already, then you need to take that top comment that's pinned and go and join the Hughes Initiative Academy hosted on the school platform. This is where the Police Academy Blueprint is. As we continue to build the Police Academy Blueprint, it will be there. 7-day free trial right now. Walk in the doors of the Academy, look in the rooms, test it out, watch the year motto, watch some of our former lives, some of our previous lives, get in there, get situated, join the community. All right, let's keep going. Scenario time. Scenario time. Here we go. First one. Let me give it to you like this. Hold up, Louis. Law enforcement been in my heart for a long time. I feel like that's my calling. Do it. Do it. Apply to be a police officer. I knew I was going to draw it out of you. Apply to be a police officer. Don't tiptoe around it. I did that for 10 years. Don't tiptoe around it. I did everything. Listen, adolescent mental health, regular security, top flight security of the world, corporate security, juvenile detention. I was a hospital police officer, tiptoeing around what the Lord called me to do, was to be a police officer. Do it. Do it, Louis. Do it. Go be a police officer. Apply to your police academy or your police department on Monday. Don't wait. You can probably do it online right now. Get your second screen up. As we do this, you do that. oral interviews. Listen. I told you, I am your guide. But I'm your guide, and I'm the best guide for you because I have been there. I know what I'm talking about here. When I'm drawing this stuff out of you, I can feel it in the comments that you leave me. I can feel it. You know what the Lord has put on your heart. Yet you try to tiptoe around it because you're not ready. But you are. You're just afraid. But fear is not of the Lord, it's of the enemy. As long as the enemy can keep you out of where you're supposed to be, his job is getting done. His job is getting done. You're supposed to have been in law enforcement. And I'm not trying to chastise you. I'm just trying to encourage you. Take it from me, someone who tiptoed around it for a decade. You find no growth, no success, no true happiness, no true fulfillment until you get in. At least start the process. Username 1275824. I really appreciate you, brother. I wish I would have found you sooner. Don't worry about that. We're not talking about finding me sooner. The Lord brought you here right now. Because right now is when you are supposed to be here. We gotta go back to the prayer. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. You are where you are supposed to be right now because this is what the Lord designed for you. We talked about it last week where we said we pray for a blessing, we pray for a sign. The sign was what the Lord put in your heart. But sometimes you have to wait on the Lord because you are not ready. You're not where you're supposed to be. And you pray for a blessing. When that blessing does come, when it's supposed to come, you look back and say, you know what? You know what, Lord? I prayed for it 2 years ago. But right now I found the Hughes Initiative Academy hosted on a school platform. And this is where I'm supposed to be today. Come on, y'all. Come on. Oh, come on. Let's go. Oral interview scenario number 1. Y'all got me fired up in here. You're walking to your car late at night after leaving a grocery store. You notice a man and a woman arguing loudly near the entrance. The man starts getting more aggressive, stepping closer to her and raising his voice. Other people nearby seem unsure what to do. What would you do? What would you do? Let me know in the comments. Just briefly, what would you do? Give me 1 point. Give me 1 point. Nimi, my big dream is to become an RCMP officer, and I'm praying for it, and hopefully one day. No. That's not what we do here. The Lord already put it on your heart. You've done enough praying about it. You've done enough praying about it. Now you got to do the work. You've done enough praying about it. Now it's time for you to go to do the work. You got to take the step. Tank say, for this question, approach and assess the situation. Louise say, ask if anyone needs help. We're thinking about this as a civilian, how to answer this question. Being self-aware and using good judgment. Okay? You're walking to your car late night. Username said, I would definitely intervene, especially if it escalates. You're walking to your car late at night after leaving a grocery store. You notice a man and a woman arguing loudly near the entrance. The man starts getting more aggressive, stepping closer to her and raising his voice. Other people nearby seem unsure what to do. What would you do? Nimi says, I would use de-escalation techniques by staying calm, speaking softly, and separate the two parties to create safety. Kay Brooks says, not law enforcement, call the real police. The answer to this question is this. This is how we do this. Through the Hughes Initiative formula. First, I acknowledge that this is a potentially volatile situation that could escalate quickly. That's acknowledging the situation. The main issue here, identify the core issue, is the risk of argument turning physical and someone getting hurt. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I would prioritize safety by keeping distance from this situation. Listen to me. You are not a police officer. They don't want these questions answered like a cop would answer it. You have zero authority out here. Zero. You are a civilian. Staying aware of my surroundings and not inserting myself between them. Listen. Civilians, not police officers. Civilians, not police officers. You do not put yourself in this situation. You will get, because the potential for you to get hurt becomes greater. And we talked about that self-awareness. I would call 911 to report what I'm seeing, describe their location, and give updates on what's happening. If it's safe, I would stay where I can observe without putting myself in danger until help arrives. You're not the cops. You have to call the cops. If you're going to get involved, you have to call law enforcement, and you have to keep a safe distance. It is not your place to get involved in these oral interview questions. It is not your place to get involved. This is no superhero type deal. What you would do on the streets is not what they're looking for in these oral interviews. They're looking for self-awareness in these oral interviews. Keeping yourself safe from danger, because as a police officer, that's what you have to do the vast majority of the time. You stop a car on a highway, you have to keep yourself safe. It's nobody else's responsibility but yours. You are a civilian. You have to keep yourself safe. Because what you don't want to do is get jammed up by intervening and end up hurting someone. The other side of this as well. What if, because I don't usually do the what if game, but what if they're arguing, this is their baseline homeostasis, you approach like, hey guys, and they both turn on you. Now the only thing you got to try to save you is our Lord and Savior, because you did not pay attention to the warning signs. Keep a safe distance. My goal would be to avoid escalating the situation. Make sure accurate information is provided to responding officers, because we appreciate that, and to ensure that I don't put myself or anyone else at unnecessary risk. That last line is key. Not put myself or anyone else at an unnecessary risk. TikTok do this to me all the time. They do this to me all the time. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, let's keep going. Louis said that's an interesting theory. No theory, my friend. That's how they want these questions answered. Seriously, you have to put yourself in the position of a security guard, and it is observe and report. Not interject, observe and report. Because you run the risk of getting yourself hurt or escalating a situation. Again, if this is their baseline, if this is what they do everywhere they go, and this is your first time seeing them, you might think they're the damsel in distress. You might think that. They may kiss and make up in the car, but you interject yourself and they be like, what? Who is you getting involved in our business? Huh? I'm just saying. If you're just now getting into the live, you're missing some good stuff, that's okay. The live review will be inside of the Hughes Initiative Academy. The Police Academy Blueprint is there, hosted on the school platform. Yeah, Kate Brooks, yeah, trust me, every cop will agree with this dude. Call the real cops. We don't, listen, if there's a situation between two people and you only have one police officer coming, we appreciate if there's not 3 people involved. If there's not 4 people involved, right? From a safety standpoint, but then from a paperwork standpoint, you got to talk to everybody that was involved. Right? Now you got this massive report when you could have just been like, the best reporter is the one who keeps their distance, picks up the phone and says, hey, man in a black shirt, black jeans, woman in a purple dress, standing out here in front of this Walmart arguing. I'm just calling to let y'all know that this is going on. Thank you. We appreciate that so much. We'll be on our way. I've done this longer than anyone in here has been alive, most likely. Kate Brooks, how old is you? You probably got 30 years on, huh? But this is how, so you'll find these questions and these scenarios, the TikTok live will be replays inside of Hughes Initiative Academy on the school platform. If you're just now joining us, thank you for joining us. Let us know what step of the process you're in. These oral interviews, there's other scenarios that'll be on inside of the HI Academy. There's other scenarios. There'll also be in Spanish as well for my Spanish-speaking people, because I do believe that there are the more diversity we have inside of law enforcement, the better, right? There are plenty of times, especially in today's world, where I stop someone who speaks Spanish. My Spanish is rusty. It's old and rusty. We have to use Google Translate. But if I had someone who spoke Spanish fluently with me, then that would be a much better resource than Google Translate. Google Translate is what I have to use, but I wish that there was more. All right, let's keep going. Let's talk about why this works. And K. Brooks, you can speak to this. You didn't play hero in that answer. You didn't pretend to be an officer. That's like almost an automatic disqualifier, if not an automatic disqualifier. The moment you try to respond to these questions as a police officer, nope, that's not what we want. You're already too far gone. You prioritize safety. Safety is paramount. It's key. It's the biggest thing. You focus on observation and reporting. Like a security guard, observe and report, and you show judgment without overstepping. You could get involved, but that's not your role. That's not your place. That's what we as law enforcement are for. That's our job. Let us do our job, because we have the authority and the backing to get involved and handle the situation however it may need to be handled. Whether that's just separating the parties, whether that's arresting someone, unfortunately, whether that be may have to take somebody's life, we have the authority to do these things. You as a regular civilian, as an American citizen, do not. You don't. So don't do this, please, please. Let's keep going. Scenario number 2. Giving it to you. You're working alone as a security monitor for a residential apartment building. A tenant approaches you and says their neighbor has been blasting loud music almost every night around 2 a.m. for the past week. They're angry, tired, and demand that you go up there and shut it down now. What do you do? In the comments, let me know. What do you do in this situation? As an American citizen, as someone sitting on that oral interview panel, they give you this question. What do you do? It's crazy to me. You say you didn't need to be a cop. You didn't need college to be a cop. K. Brooks, we not gonna go there. We not gonna go. This will turn this into a 3-hour live. We not going there. We not going there tonight. We not going there tonight, K. Brooks. We not going there. I'm telling you. Because I have strong feelings about that. I have super strong feelings about that. And it Brooks is from the cowboy age. I don't know about that. My stake at least 2 years by law, K. Brooks. If you want me to comment on whether or not a police officer needs to have college, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. If you're just now joining us, let us know what step of the process you're in. Go take the top pinned comment and join the Hughes Initiative Academy hosted on the school platform. And let's get into this, right? Okay, good. Y'all ain't gaming it, so we just gonna keep going. Let me reread the question. The scenario, rather. You're working alone as a security monitor for a residential apartment building. A tenant approaches you and said the neighbor has been blasting music loudly almost every night around 2 a.m. for the past week. They're angry, tired, and demand that you go up there and shut it down now. What do you do? What do you do? How do we answer this question? We don't overthink this. Is the number one thing we don't. We don't overthink. We don't overthink this. Because let me ask you this question. As you prepare for this, K. Brooks said your question, try to call the resident if you're security for the complex, okay? We'll get to your response. We'll get to my response. The question I want to ask yourself as we talk about mindset. What's the story you tell yourself when you're nervous? This is a little sidebar. Be honest. When you get nervous in situations, what's the story you tell yourself? Because what I say when I get nervous, like when I go and I speak before professional teams in the past, like the first time, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. Like, I don't know if I should be doing this. I don't know if I'm ready for this. That's the story I tell myself. You have to listen to the monologue that you have inside your mind. I just recently found out that some people don't have a monologue. Some people don't. That's who do you talk to? Who do you talk to? Again, me being transparent, like these live scenario slides that I have for different aspects, different parts of the process, I go through these things alone in the HI studio or wherever I am on my phone multiple times. My presentations I go through multiple times. Who do you talk to? That's the question I have. If you don't have one, let me know. How do you handle it? But getting back to this, what do you do when the tenant comes to you and says, my neighbor has been playing music loudly at 2 a.m.? It's like they come home from the bar at 1:30, get a shower with the music on, and I want you to do something. I'm tired. I got to go to work tomorrow. They obviously don't have a job. What do I do? Here's how we handle it. Here's how we answer this oral interview question. Take this, put it in your notes, put it up here, keep this in mind. We're answering this as a civilian, not as a police officer. Acknowledge the situation, right? Validate this person's feelings. This is how you build connection, the matching principle. I understand that this has been frustrating for them, especially if it's been happening multiple nights and affecting their sleep. Acknowledge that this is a problem for them. Don't just gloss over it. Don't just blow it off. Identify the core issue. The main issue here is an ongoing noise complaint that's starting to build tension between neighbors and could turn into a confrontation if not handled properly. That's the core issue. This thing could get much worse, which is a lot of situations that is the core issue. Where it is now is not where it has to stay. It could get much worse. Next, apply safety, judgment, and awareness. I would remain calm and avoid matching their frustration. I'd let them know I take their concern seriously, but I wouldn't immediately go confront the neighbor out of anger or pressure. Self-awareness. Self-awareness. I would follow whatever reporting or communication procedures are in place, documenting the complaint, collecting specific details, and contacting the appropriate authorities or property management. If I needed to make contact, I would do so in a professional and non-confrontational way during appropriate hours and with backup or guidance if required. This is how they want these questions handled and answered. This is what they want. Not you run up there, turn it down. You know what you may find if you go up there at that hour with that mindset as a security guard? You may find yourself, number one, in a fight. Number two, ultimately, you may find yourself sitting at the right hand of the Lord. Not your place. This is big. This one is especially important because it talks about following procedures. What did your boss tell you to do? What is the documentation that is written in the bylaws of your position with this company? What are you supposed to do? Does it say go up there and tell them to turn it down? Or does it say contact the property manager, document the issue, contact the property manager, take your lead from them during the appropriate business hours? Because I've been plenty of places with security guards that call us at 2 o'clock in the morning. Hey, this same scenario is kind of where I draw some of this from. I got a tenant down here, said they next door neighbor playing music loud, blasting it. Can y'all come and talk to him? Right? We have the authority to say, hey, listen, everyone is entitled to hours of peace between the hours of 10 and 6 a.m. And we can cite you for not following that. Security guard's not citing. You document and report it. Let's talk about ending with a clear and confident goal. My goal would be to help resolve the situation in a safe and proper way, prevent it from escalating into a neighbor dispute, and make sure it's handled through the correct channels instead of emotion. You're going to hear correct channels through channels as a law enforcement officer ad nauseum. There's a system in place for just about everything, if not everything. There's a process. And these systems and processes have been put in place a lot of times because people have done their own thing. It has gone absolutely terrible. And the department has had to come up with something to keep it from happening again. You observe and report and do what your bylaws, what your contract, what your policies and procedures tell you to do. That's what you do. Not whatever you want to do. That's not what you do as you're answering these questions, because this is what they're looking for. Why this works. It tests emotional control. That neighbor that came to you is hot. You might get triggered because you may have lived in a place where you may have lived in a place where your neighbor was this way. And how did it make you feel? You may want to get involved that way. Emotional control. It tests pressure from civilians. You're going to find it. In today's world, you make a traffic stop inside of a city, you might get 20, 30 people yelling and screaming, cameras out, all in your face, trying to get into your traffic stop. Can you handle that pressure and still do your job to the full extent of what you was going to do it? Right? You pull a car over downtown in your city. It's a Friday night. The person driving it is intoxicated. Are you going to shrink in the face of that confrontation? Number one, with that person. But are you going to shrink also in the face of that confrontation of the people around you? Because now you got an audience. Now people stopping. Oh, honey, do you see? This might be like one of those videos I was watching on YouTube last week. I'm telling you, shrinking in the face of confrontation is a real thing. It checks if they, meaning you, if you act impulsively. You're going to run up there, put yourself in danger. It checks if you understand boundaries. It checks if you respect procedure. Do you understand the scope and the limits of what you are capable of doing as an American citizen in situations like this, or as a security guard in this specific scenario? That's what they're looking for. This is what they're looking for. Like, you really have to think about these things as you prepare for your oral interview. Again, how you would handle it not being a police officer is not how they expect you to handle it in the oral interview. I got my girl Remar in here. Number one NCLEX instructor in the world. If you trying to get into law enforcement and your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your wife is trying to get into nursing, then there's only one place to go. That's the Remar review. Y'all better get cops and healthcare go together. My wife is a nurse. I'm a police officer. I have the lived experience. They go together. So if you're looking to get into nursing, tell her the same thing I would tell you. You take it hand in hand, honey. Sweetheart, let's take this step together. We've been putting it off for way too long. I'm applying to the police department. I'm applying to be a police officer. I need you to apply to nursing school. The Hughes initiative for me, Remar review for you. We do this thing together. We become that power couple that they talk about on social media. Let's keep going. K. Brooks say nurse is a red flag. It depends. It depends. But a lot of times in relationships, we see the red flags and still keep going. I had the lived experience of that. I think I talk about it inside of that live presentation of the year model, which is in the Hughes Initiative Academy, which is hosted on the school platform. Y'all have not copy and pasted the top comment to get in. 7-day free trial. Get in there, look around, walk around, sit down, sit on the couch. Don't, if you're older, don't Rick James my couch, but get in there and get you some. All right, let's keep going. Scenario number 3. K. Brooks, where are you law enforcement? In the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. One of the first and the finest since 1905. Okay. You're driving home late at night and come up to an intersection. You see a car off to the side of the road with his hazard lights on. A man is sitting outside waving his arms and trying to get you to stop. It's a dark area. It's dark. The area isn't well lit and you don't see anyone else around. What do you do? What do you do? You're driving home late at night. You see a car pulled over, hazard lights on. Dude outside, hey, I need some help. It's dark. It isn't well lit. And you don't see no one else around. In the comments, let me know what you do. Let me know what you do. Let's take a second. Thank you so much. Again, if you're new here, if you're just joining us, welcome. We love that you're here. Lord has brought you here, clearly. Clearly, you stopped from scrolling up on the lives. You stop here. You must have seen the Jack Skellington. We get rid of that nightmare of the oral interview. We're breaking down the oral interview in a simple, straightforward way. I'm giving you this because I know that it's necessary. If you haven't downloaded the free PDF, then you're missing it. The free PDF is the starter. You get on that email list, and then you get the updates about the Hughes Initiative Academy, about the EAR motto, all of these things, about the discounts on Dominate Your First Year as a Cop, or the live version, the video version of the Citizens Police Education Program. You missed that stuff by not downloading the free PDF. And Remar says, I do not stop. Remar Nurse says, I do not stop. Kay Brooks says, well, I'm going to keep driving around and look for people in the dark. Oh, he working. Keep driving around, look for people in the dark. Have a good night. Kay Brooks, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you stopping by. Louis, how do you get on that email list? You got to download the free PDF. That means you got to go to the website, www.hi-teaches.com. That link is in the bio right now. It will be changed, so you better get in there. Right on the homepage, download the free PDF to get on the email list. And then once you get on the email list, download the free PDF, you should already be inside of the Hughes Initiative Academy 7-day free trial on the school platform, SKOOL school platform. Top comment is pinned. Copy and paste that top comment right into your URL or right into your browser. Go, get in, get situated. I'll see you over there when I get done with this. Ashbash say, I call the police. What do? I'll read it again for you, then we'll move on. You're driving home late at night and come up to an intersection. You see a car off to the side of the road with his hazard lights on. A man is standing outside waving his arms and trying to get you to stop. It's dark, the area isn't well lit, and you don't see anyone else around. What do you do? What do you do? As a civilian, sitting in your suit and tie or your dress jacket, ladies, professional dress jacket with your blouse, your slacks. They ask you this question and they're looking for an answer. We acknowledge, we identify. What do? We keep going, right? Let's look at the answer. This is how we answer it with the Hughes Initiative's formula. Only place you're going to find this formula. Write this formula down. Write this down. Y'all should be in here taking notes. Pen and paper in here taking notes. And if you don't have it right now, you got to join the Hughes Initiative Academy on the school platform, SKOOL, to find the replay of this thing, because that's where it's at. Come on. The Lord sent you here to send you. I'm going to take you to where you need to be. Here's how we answer this. Acknowledge the situation. I recognize that this could be someone needing help, but it can also be a dangerous or unpredictable situation given the time of night and the location. Acknowledge the situation, right? Recognize what it is and where it could go. They love that. They love that when you can think outside of where you are right now and look to where it is. Identify the core issue. The main issue is balancing the need to help someone with the need to protect my own safety and avoid placing myself in a vulnerable position. As you're watching this live, understand that your safety as an American citizen, as a civilian answering this question, is one of the key things that they're going to be looking for as you answer and structure, as you structure your answer. Are you keeping yourself safe, not putting yourself in danger? Are you not trying to be a cowboy or a cowgirl? Is this what you're doing? Because that's that self-awareness piece. the ability to see, you already acknowledged it, that a situation could potentially be dangerous, not interject yourself in it to make it even more dangerous situation. Okay? Acknowledge, identify the core issue, apply safety and judgment. This is what you do. This is the application part of it. You take the thoughts into actions. I would not immediately pull over or exit my vehicle. I would keep my doors locked, stay inside the car, and continue driving to a safe, well-lit area or nearby public location or the police station. Once I'm safely away, I would call 911 and report what I saw, including the location, the vehicle description, and the man's actions. If it's safe to do so, I will remain nearby, but at a distance where I'm not exposed or trapped until authorities arrive. You keep driving. You don't put yourself in danger. That's not what you do. You keep driving. You don't stop, because you've already acknowledged that this could potentially be a setup. So you keep going. Description, right? Who, what, when, where, how. Accurate description, so that we as police officers have some sense of what we're walking into or who we're going to be dealing with. Don't be afraid to say this person was white, this person was black, right? Like, don't be afraid to say that. Give a good description of the person as best you can as you drive by, the vehicle as best you can as you drive by, 100% the location, and what they were doing. And that's going to be quick. Like, we get a lot of calls. Oh, this person was on the side of the road. Looked like they were getting out into traffic. We get there. That's not what it is. But we appreciate you calling, right? The greatest help you can be is to actually let us know that something is going on, right? I would remain nearby, but at a distance where I'm not exposed or trapped until authorities arrive. Again, keeping yourself out of danger. Apply safety, judgment, and awareness in with a clear and confident goal. Because what's the goal of you calling? Like, what's the whole goal? My goal would be to make sure the situation is reported accurately and that help is sent without putting myself in a position where I could be harmed or unable to protect myself. That's the goal. The goal is to help, but keep yourself safe. Right? So we acknowledge, we identify, we apply safety and judgment, and we end with a clear goal. The goal is always to help, but not to put myself at risk in an effort to be of service to other people. Again, if you're just now coming in here, thank you so much for joining us. This is our breakdown of the oral interview process for law enforcement in a clear and straightforward way. I want you walking into that room with this information confident and calm. When you sit down, the presence that you give off should be of someone who is prepared for this, someone who has been called and is in alignment with the Lord has said to them about being a police officer, and this is just a part of the process. If you have not already, please do copy and paste the top comment, put it in your browser, join the Hughes Initiative Academy, which is hosted on the school platform. Get in, get access to the Police Academy Blueprint, get access to the ear motto, get access to the live TikTok reviews that we do, because it's all there. All right? Why does this work? You're aware of the danger, but you're not paranoid. Right? You acknowledge that there's danger there, but you're not crazy. You didn't ignore someone needing help. You avoided unnecessary risk because you didn't stop. Right? They may think that you ignored them, but you didn't. You went somewhere where it was safe for you to call the cops. That's fair. Because that's looking at it from best case scenario. This person is broken down, tire flat, ran out of gas, whatever the case may be. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is this person has set up here and only needs one person to take advantage of, because this is what they do. Because that's a real possibility in life. These things do happen this way. Y'all ain't never seen Silence of the Lambs? Buffalo Bill, he had the cast on. Can you help me with this couch? Lady, come on. Oh, yeah, I'll help you. You go in first. He push them in, close the door. Now they trapped. Layup situations. You know, those who have taken the lives of a lot of other people in this country. I don't want to say the name because I don't want TikTok to kick me off. But those kind of people, they make a living off of the gullibleness of others, the desire to help without thinking ahead or thinking that this could be something wrong. This is how people go missing sometimes. They stop to help somebody, that person take them, goodbye. That's it. So as you answer these questions, right, understand, you want to help, but you have to protect yourself first. What not to say, right? What not to say. If someone's please don't say this. Please don't say this. This will get you kicked out immediately. If someone is waiting for help, I'd pull over right away and get out to see what they needed. I try to control the situation and make sure they stay where they are until the police arrive. It's not your job. I'll hammer this home to you all until you go to sleep and think about it. It's not your job. It is not your job to do any of this. It would be nice maybe to stop and help, but that's not your job. This is not what I want any of my daughters doing. This is not what I want my wife. This is not what I want my sister, any member of my family. This is not what I want them doing, male or female. I don't want you stopping to help nobody on the side of the road where it's dark. It could just be them. Or it could be a couple people laying in wait in the grass behind some trees. You got to think about these things. Common sense. It's not so common a lot of times. This ain't what I want for y'all. And this is not what these panels of people want you answering in that way. You're not the cops. Keep going. Call. Description. Pull over if you want to. But not... I'm telling you. You say this right here as an answer to the scenario that we gave. If you say this, they're going to bounce you. They'll be writing like, really? Right? They may even play with you. And then what would you do if you found out that they were under the influence or that they struggled with their mental health? They were actually experiencing a mental health episode. What would you do then? Oh, you would fight them. Oh, you would fight them. And what if they overcame you? What would you do then? Get him out of here. He gonna get somebody hurt, including himself. Get him out of here. This is not what you say, right? So keep that in mind. You want to help, but you have to keep yourself safe. Why this doesn't work? Why doesn't it work? We talked about a couple of these. It shows poor safety judgment. You put yourself at risk immediately. You pull it over for somebody. No. It places you in unnecessary danger. There's no reason to. Like, that's what cops do. We put ourselves in the line of danger. We're authorized to do so in case something goes wrong. You're not. Nor should you. Like, I want you to be safe, but I want you to answer these questions correctly. Y'all see the Jack Skellington? I love this. Picked it up at Walmart. It was like $25. Go get you one. Wear this all winter long. Why this doesn't work? You try to control a situation as a civilian. You don't possess that authority or that power over another person. This is what gets civilians jammed up all the time. When they interject themselves in a situation and then the situation gets bigger. And now what they thought it was, it's no longer. And now it's out of control and it's out of their hands. And now they put themselves in jeopardy. You fail to recognize the high-risk environment. You don't know what this is as you drive through a dimly lit area in the wee hours of the morning. You have no idea what this is. Again, best case scenario could be somebody broke down, legitimately need of help. That's okay. We're going to get them the help they need. But it's not you in that very moment because it could be something else. You overstep your role instead of observing and reporting. I told you. Like a good safety security officer. Me, when I first came out of college, my first job ever was as a top flight security in the world. This is what's happening. People smoking where they ain't supposed to be smoking. People taking things out that they ain't supposed to be taking out. Right? People coming in at entrances that they ain't supposed to be coming in. Observe and report. That's your job. Observe and report. And it sounds impulsive and it's not calculated. Super impulsive. Oh, let me pull over. Oh. With no thought that this could be dangerous. We don't want that kind of person as a police officer. We don't need that kind of... There's unfortunately people who are like this. Super impulsive. On the job and off the job. Right? I deal with police officers who struggle with different vices in life. I myself have struggled with numerous vices in life. So I always speak from a place of transparency, but also from a place of lived experience. Impulsiveness is what creates problems. And that split-second decision, when you have gotten intoxicated and said, you know what? I can make it home because I've made it home every other time. Even though you know it's against the law and you know that you're intoxicated to a very high degree. And I'm talking about people outside of law enforcement. You make this impulsive decision to get behind the wheel of a car. And you could make it home, or you could seriously injure somebody. And the in-between is that a police officer actually stops you and you get arrested. And DUI, in my opinion, is the easiest arrest to avoid because it doesn't have to happen. It's all self-inflicted every time. And I deal with people who's like, I can't believe you stopped me. And I'm like, I can't believe you drank and then decided to drive. Like, that was the wildest decision. And it's always people who need their driver's license to make their living that they're currently making. Always. Always. People with a regular driver's license, people with CDLs. And my question is, why? It's literally the question I ask everyone. Why? You have a driver's license. You need it to work. You work for UPS. You drive a bus. You work for FedEx. You know, like you're a courier. You do Lyft. You do Uber. Why? Why would you jeopardize the one way that you're making income right now? Why? What was it? And I have some ideas of what it is, but that's for a different live. But why? It's impulsive. Police officers make these decisions. Understand, police officers don't get arrested normally for something like extremely out of the norm. No, we're American citizens too. We're human beings too. We get arrested for the same things that regular people get arrested for, or non-police officers get arrested for. Alcohol, narcotics, poor relationships, the ramifications of exposure to adult content, gambling. All these, like, we get arrested for these things on a regular basis too. It is not uncommon, unfortunately, and that speaks to a greater issue that we need to address within our own house as law enforcement. But these are impulsive decisions that we make in a split second. Right? When I struggled with alcohol for a few years, my wife hated it, and I hated it. I prayed for the Lord to take it away. I would say, Lord, please, take this taste, take this spirit away. And the Lord would say, you do it. You take it away. Because I could go all day like, hey, I'm not drinking today. Like, not drinking today. And then the thought would creep in as I was going about my day. And then I would say, okay. And when I said, okay, that split second decision, I had been to the state store, to the liquor store, back home on the patio, and 2-3 drinks in before I even realized that I made that decision. That's how fast it is. When it comes to adult content, same thing. I'm not going to look at this. We done with this? I'm sitting here in front of the computer. What? Bam, you in it. Split second decisions. You have to make them in law enforcement, but in this situation right here, as someone interviewing, you can't have that level of impulsivity in you. That impulsiveness, you can't have that because you're not thinking clearly about the greater situation. I'm giving it to you. What you want from me, I'm giving it to you. I'm giving you everything the Lord has told me to give you. I appreciate everybody being here. If you're just now joining, please copy and paste that top comment. Get inside of the Hughes Initiative Academy hosted on the school platform. Tonight we're breaking down the oral interview process, giving scenarios. If you missed any part of this, then you definitely got to join the Hughes Initiative Academy because the live reviews are housed there. That's where they are. Inside the Hughes Initiative Academy on the school platform. Let's keep going. Body language and delivery. I know this is where some people struggle because you're unprepared. And that plays a factor. Sit upright, feet flat, hands visible, calm tone. Don't rush, don't overreact. Control eye movement. Your presence speaks before your voice ever does. If you come in there disheveled and you sweating, and sweating is, some people can't control it. You sweating, you nervous. They're going to be sitting back like, in their mind, they're going to be like, this person is a spaz. And they're not going to make it the first time we send them to a trailer park, or the first time they have to go to a very volatile domestic. They're going to lose their mind. It starts right here, right? This is one of your first exposures to law enforcement and the people that will be overseeing you. Is this oral interview? It's just like the polygraph. I was talking to a polygrapher a couple weeks ago, and what they told me was that what they wrote in the book is what they wrote in the book. They keep the story consistent. They tell what they wrote in the book. They say it. But the challenge is that they just absolutely freak out because of the stress and anxiety that they've placed on themselves. Because, we get it as law enforcement, being on the inside, we get it. This is huge. This is what the Lord has called you to do. This is monumental. This career can be life-changing. It will be life-changing. For the better. You will be tested as a person. Physically, mentally, emotionally. We get it. You've told people, your family's praying for you, your friends are praying for you, people are telling you shouldn't do it. You're sitting in this chair at this polygraph or at this oral interview or at this background, and you just turn into a complete waste of space because you let all of this pressure just crush you down in that very moment. And as it relates to the polygraph, that machine's going to be all over the place because, what's wrong with this person? Everything that happens is about, can you handle pressure? Every step of this process is about, can you handle the pressure of this step? I just put a video out, I think it was last night. You can only focus on whatever step you're at. So if it's the application, filling it out, fill that thing out the right way. Don't worry about what's going to happen after that. If it's the physical readiness, focus on what you need to do for the physical readiness test. Don't worry about the polygraph. The Bible tells us in the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 14, I believe it is verse 14, tomorrow's problems will essentially be there tomorrow. Worry about today, because tomorrow has enough to be worried about. Same thing with this. You can't, listen, if you freak out during the oral interview, you ain't got to worry about the rest of the process because you're not going to make it. You don't have to worry about that, right? You focus on what you can focus on, what you know. One of the commenters said, they asked me about being a county sheriff. What zone should I focus on? What did the email say? Email said, zone 2B. Focus on that. You wear yourself thin trying to focus on all the other ones when that ain't what they asked you for. Because they may ask you intimate or intricate questions about just that one zone. But because you spent time doing this and that and this and that, you missed what they was really looking for. They was going to dive deep into it. You might learn something about a different zone, but that's irrelevant because that's not what they're asking you for. And in this process, it's just one step at a time. This process is about pressure. And it's about patience. I've said it before. I'll say it again for you right here. The police application process, the process to go from candidate to cadet, is the hardest part of this thing. It is not the academy, and it is definitely not being a police officer. It is the getting into law enforcement as it relates to getting to the academy. This is why we teach from candidate to cadet to cop. This candidate part is the hardest part. Because there are multiple steps where you are faced with pressure and you have to be patient. And how do you respond to the pressure? And if you are impatient, Do you drink to take the edge off? Do you turn to some other negative coping mechanism to take the edge off in that very moment? Do you seek comfort in that way? Because that's what we're looking for as law enforcement, as we're looking for candidates. We're looking for people who can keep it together. Young man got arrested. He's telling me, RC, I want to be a police officer. I said, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't. Because if you truly did, it's not time for you right now. It's also what I said. It's not your time. Because if you truly did, you would not struggle as much to sacrifice those things that could stop you from getting to that goal. That's a huge point. There's a level of sacrifice that's involved with this process. You absolutely have to give up those negative coping mechanisms that you have. Because law enforcement is one of those careers, like money, it doesn't solve your problems. It only magnifies the ones that you already have. So if you struggle with communication, law enforcement is going to expose that even more. If you struggle with connecting with people who don't look like you, law enforcement is going to expose that more. If you have a drinking problem, I use alcohol a lot as references because that's one of the biggest negative coping mechanisms inside of law enforcement. If you struggle with alcohol, this job is not going to do you any favors. If you turn to alcohol to deal with stress, there's stress involved with being a police officer. It's going to magnify it. It's going to magnify it. This is what I tell the cadets. You have made it this far in the academy. I usually come in towards the end or at the very beginning with the ear model. You come into law enforcement and you struggle with alcohol. I can tell you by year 2 or 3, you're going to have a full-blown drinking problem. You have to give these things up. Take it from me, someone who didn't give them up at the very beginning because no one told me that it was going to be that way. Like there was going to have to be some sacrifice. Take it from me. I'm your guide. I'm telling you, this is lived experience. You are better served to give this thing up at the very beginning than to try to do it when you're already on the job. Because law enforcement, alcohol is unfortunately weaved into the fabric of law enforcement. It shows up multiple places, whether department sponsored or not. But as you on a personal level, you're going to have access to experiences, access to money. And if you have these issues, they are going to be magnified. Nigeria, my boy, is in the house. Nigeria is almost through with the process. If he ain't through with the process, Nigeria, tell us where you are. He say his is stress eating. Nigeria, you may offend some of the ladies here. You may have called out some of the ladies. I know you called out some of the men, but you may offend some of the ladies. If you stress eat, right, you don't have a defined diet, you don't reel that in as a police officer, like let me explain to you what it's going to be like in today's world, unfortunately, a lot of places. You're going to be sitting for hours at a time, which is one of the worst things you can do for yourself. You may find yourself working somewhere that has long hours. If you don't have a system in place or how you're going to handle that as it relates to exercise, you're going to look like the police officer that ate the police officer when you first started. I'm telling you. I'm only telling you what I know. I'm only telling you what I know. These vices that you have to get rid of them. And honestly, to be completely honest, the Lord may have brought you here to expose you to just that there's work that needs to be done. And that's okay. Focus on the work that needs to be done. Whatever you struggle with, focus on getting rid of that. And that's a second by second thing. When I talk to people who struggle with different vices, doing it day by day is a disservice. These vices that come from the enemy, they are well seasoned. They've been around forever. You ain't special. They've taken plenty of lives, plenty of careers, broken up plenty of families. They're really good at what they do, efficient in a sense. They have nothing but time. You have a limited amount of time on this earth. So it's a second by second thing. I told you how with me, alcohol, it was a split second decision, impulsive. Same thing with the rest of these things. You stressed, you just finished your oral interview, they say the background is neck, let me get some chips. These Oreos, mega stuff, how I like them, and make you feel better. Come on now. Let me have a drink to take the edge off. Let me look at some adult content. Let me text this person. Let me call this person because I'm in a stressful situation, and that millisecond of validation I think will make me feel better, but it won't. It won't. All you get is conviction in your heart. That's all you get is conviction in your heart when you're done with that thing. When you're done with it, all you get is conviction. All you get is, I shouldn't have done that. That was dumb. That was stupid. That can be avoided. Right? Body language and delivery, how you sit and speak matters. We went off, but y'all know how I give it to y'all. Most common questions that you'll find. I know Nigeria. I draw it out of you because the Lord has given me the gift to do that. This ain't got nothing to do with me. Right now, you in this live because the Lord has brought you here and is speaking to you directly about what you need to be doing or where you need to be as it relates to the process. Not only the police academy process, the police application process, but in life. Stop avoiding, stop tiptoeing around, stop staring that gift horse in the mouth. Start to work. The sooner you start to work, this is where true confidence is found. True confidence is found in having a battle, fighting the battle, and winning. My battle before I went to the academy was with exercise. Nigeria, I was like you. I lost 37 pounds before I went to the academy. My battle was the exercise. But when I got to the academy, I was in shape. I wasn't the greatest runner. I wasn't the greatest swimmer. But if I had not fought before I got there, I probably would have got hurt within the first 2 weeks of being there because I didn't prepare. This is where real self-confidence comes from. Me and my wife, we talk about this all the time. I speak the way I do about alcohol and overcoming it because I fought this battle for years. Let me tell you something. I fought this battle for years to overcome it. And when I finally did, and it wasn't just overcoming it once, it was the continued course of action to say no to these things. Irregardless of the situation, right? Not shrinking in the face of confrontation. It's easy to say no at home. There's no alcohol here. We don't drink here. But it's around family and friends and in other environments where it's easy to shrink in the face of confrontation and give in, even though it's not in alignment with what the Lord has called you to do, or it does not suit to benefit the goal that you're trying to achieve. Come on, y'all. Come on now. I'm speaking to somebody in here. Come on. These are the most common questions. Tell us about yourself. Tell me about yourself. What would you say? What would you say? Why do you want to be a police officer? Everybody gives the standard answer. I always wanted to be one since I was a kid. Your greatest weakness. This is an ego question. This is an introspective self-reflection type question. What's your greatest weakness? What's your greatest weakness? Honestly, where do you struggle the most? It ain't necessarily got to be with a negative coping mechanism because it's deeper than that. Is it abandonment? Do you struggle with that? Do you struggle with loneliness? Do you struggle with self-validation and self-esteem? Which is where the promiscuous relationships and the adult content really come in. Do you struggle with that? Do you struggle with, again, like validation? When we talk about gambling inside of the ear model, we talk about feeling lucky Like, I never gamble, so I had to interview gamblers. What's the process? How does it make you feel? One told me, I have problems in the world, but then once I got inside the casino or I got that scratch off in my hand, right? And if I won, I felt like the gods were being kind to me. I felt a pat on the back, like I did a good job, or I was lucky. Be honest about what you truly do struggle with. Describe a conflict you've handled. Now, if you've never handled a conflict the right way or in a positive way, then you're probably going to struggle with this question. Conflict resolution is huge because 99% of this job is communications, verbal communications. In your life, what conflict had you handled the right way? Where you didn't walk away feeling like you laid down, right? You didn't walk away with a negative feeling towards it. Because a lot of times in conflict, it becomes a win-loss type of deal. Conflict is never about that. It's never about that. It's about being true to who you are and knowing that this one situation doesn't define you forever. What does integrity mean to you? Give an example of what integrity means to you. And what would you do if your partner broke policy? You're going to find that question in this process. You're going to find that question in the process to get promoted. You're going to find that all throughout law enforcement. What would you do if someone close to you broke policy? There's a right answer for it. And lastly, why should we choose you? What is it about you that makes you the best qualified candidate? Inside of the Hughes Initiative Academy, hosted on the school platform, I'm going to answer these questions on a live call with the members. I'm going to answer these questions. I'm going to give you the structured answer of how you should be preparing for them. Y'all been here almost 2 hours now, so y'all know I got the juice. I'm giving y'all what the Lord has given me. And I'll give it to you on the Hughes Initiative, in the Hughes Initiative Academy, hosted on the school platform. If you're just now getting in, because we got a lot of people in here, let us know what step of the process you're in, where you are. If you haven't started the process, I want to know personally. So I want to know personally, if you haven't started the process, I want to know personally so that we can have a conversation, a one-on-one conversation about where you are. But that conversation is going to happen inside of the Hughes Initiative Academy, right? 7-day free trial. Go and get in there. I went back and forth. Do I give them the free trial? Do I just charge? No. Come on in. Come on in. I guarantee once you get in, you're going to want to stay. That's how confident I am in it. That's how I know. All right? Scenario thinking questions. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. This the live. This Black Friday. This is Black Friday. You went out and spent all your money. You come in here for free with me and get way more value than whatever it is that you bought when you was out with your family and friends. Make you feel a whole lot better. Also question you and challenge you too. Scenario thinking. These aren't knowledge tests. They're thinking tests. Can you think through things? Domestic disputes, officer misconduct, welcome coming in, crowd situations, unlawful orders, mental health calls. Can you think through? I think of the Sandra Massey situation that happened out in Illinois. It was a year or two ago. I did a full breakdown on it on another platform. Won't mention the platform because I don't want TikTok to get upset with me. My background is in mental health, right? Not everyone has a background in mental health. I don't believe that law enforcement, as it's currently constructed, is equipped to handle mental health. There's people who go to school for years to deal with mental health. That's not us. All they give us is a hammer, right? Cite, arrest, maybe talk somebody through it. We are not equipped as an industry to handle the increasing number of mental health calls. But getting back to it, Sonia Massey, what's her name? The Massey lady from Illinois, because I always get it wrong. Immediately upon watching the first 15 seconds of that video, I recognized that this was a mental health call. When you've dealt with mental health, you know what mental health sounds like. And when you have dealt with mental health and you know what mental health sounds like, then you also know that you are playing a dangerous game the longer you interact with someone who is struggling with their mental health. Because they are struggling to stay in the present reality as it relates to going to their reality. And the thing about that is, you do not have access to their reality. You don't. Nigeria, the second she said, I bind you in the name of Jesus, I knew that something was wrong. I knew it was wrong way before that, when they asked her questions outside. And so, when again, getting back to the situation, when they're interacting with her, I recognize this. What did she call for? This is what she said. The moment they walked in that house, I knew it was over. I just knew it in my stomach, having dealt with mental health at every age level. I just knew it was over. I knew this was not going to end well. Because you can't play with people with mental health. They have to be handled super carefully. Because a lot of times when they do reach out, they are struggling to keep it in what we consider normal reality. You don't have access to whatever is really going on inside their minds or what they've been exposed to. You don't have a chart to read to say, okay, this person has experienced this, and this is the way they are. No, as law enforcement, that's not the case. That's not what happens. I knew when they went in their house, I said, Lord, this is not going to end well. And it did not. And it did not. And it is... It just, you have, and so in these scenarios, because that thing really touched my heart from both sides. In these scenarios, they want to know if you're able to think through these things, right? And like in that situation, going back to it, if they never go into the house, they probably never have a problem. Get that lady's information. You ain't got to get her ID. Tell her, ask her what the name is. There's no crime here. She ain't committed no crime. Get her name and date of birth and a good telephone number. You got the address already. Get that stuff. Can you think through this stuff? Is what they're looking for in these scenario questions. Can you think through this stuff? Structure is better than memorization. I gave you the answer formula already. If you ain't wrote it down, then you got to go and join the Hughes Initiative Academy on the school platform and look at these reviews and take notes from them. Top mistakes that are made. Rambling. Like I do. Talking too fast. I highlighted that. You have to be able to convey your thoughts in a structured, controlled, calm manner so that other people can understand what you're saying. Right? Like this is a little bit freer for me here. So me rambling or me talking too fast, like I'm not in these interviews. But for you in these interviews, you have to be able to convey the message in a calm way, because on the streets, you have to be able to do the same thing. Like I love to lighten up a situation, a tit situation, so that I can be more RC in my role as a police officer. But that comes with time. It wasn't always like that. I had to keep it calm and composed and structured for a number of years until I became comfortable in my role inside my uniform. Some people have it naturally. Most people don't. But and the opposite of that is you can keep it as light as you want to. But I always, like I tell the police academy cadets, you always got to have a pot on the stove on simmer. It got to be on low, because you never know when you have to turn it up. You have to go to another level with somebody. Some people try to lull you to sleep in an effort to take advantage of you. You like that, Nigeria. I know you do. I know you do. Listen, rambling, talking too fast. Come on, y'all. Rambling, talking too fast, overreacting, movie cop answers. Right? That first scenario we had folks in here, I'm hoping they're still here. That movie cop bounced early. Again, they're not looking for that. Blaming others. I put that on there because that's a life thing. As a police officer, what you'll find is that people inside of law enforcement have a propensity to criminalize victims. Right? Well, what did they do? And there is some element of accountability there, fair enough. But we see it a lot, even when the police officer is wrong. And so I think about the police officer who's got into a situation where now they're under the eye of their internal affairs or a district attorney or an attorney general. Listen, if you was wrong, you was wrong, and let's just leave it there. Right? Like, there's a level of accountability. In my personal life, I like in poor choices in people to date in relationships. I did this. This was me. I did this. I chose this person. I chose to continue to be involved with this person. I screwed it up. So their reactions or the situations that I find myself in afterwards, after I made this choice, I put myself there. I did it. That's real growth. You as a person, that's real growth. That's what real growth looks like. When it starts with, this is what I did that was incorrect, or this was the decision-making process that was flawed. That's where it goes, right? Blaming others is not going to help you. There's no growth there. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's been through some experiences. It's like I tell my children. The most you'll get from somebody is, dang, that's messed up. Can you do the job or not? Right? Like, you've been through some things. I've been through some things. But right now, I'm looking to hire you. Can you do the job or not? Or have your experiences in life, are they too much for you to overcome? Because pain is relative to the person who has experienced it. I have no connection to what you have went through personally. I can empathize with you, but at some point in time, a decision has to be made. Either it becomes a crutch that you hold yourself up with forever, or you build a bridge. And I'm not trying to be insensitive, but at the end of the day, if whatever pain you've experienced holds you down for the rest of your life, then the enemy is won. The greatest stories come from those who have experienced something traumatic and have gotten up and have moved forward. And as my sister would say, your test becomes a testimony. I took that right from her mouth. Your test becomes a testimony. These people on these panels, they ain't concerned about what you went through. I mean, you put it in the book. They may or may not know. But can you do the job? Can you perform this job serviceably, admirably? We all have gone through something. Your boy RC, my dad left when I was 6. I started getting essayed that same year for the next 7 years. Like abandonment, all of these things, growing up in the murder capital of Ohio. Okay, and you still clinging to that 25, 30 years later? Same thing with me. You struggling with this? How long are you going to struggle with it? At no point in time is you going to put it down and take that. That's not your luggage to carry through the airport. Put that thing down. Be free from it. Nigeria's first day as the cadet is next week, Monday. Nigeria, send me a DM, please. We need to talk. And then Trooper School starts in July 2026. Hey, about 8 months out. Hey, let's go. Trooper School, let's go. These are the top mistakes that get made. They want the person, not a performance. Be real, right? One of the things that we respect in law enforcement is honesty. It'll get you way further. I pull you over, you've been drinking. Yep, you know what? And I've yet to hear it from enough people. Yep. I knew better than this. This is on me. Because people will turn around and put it on us like we did it. And I tell people, no, where are you trying to place this accountability? With me, the stranger? It can't be with me, the stranger. It cannot be with me. I didn't know you before, 7 minutes ago. What steps did you take that led you to this point? That's where it starts. I had a young girl, I stopped her, and she was intoxicated. So she got arrested. And we got in a car and she started talking to me about social and economic classes and gentrification and all these other things. And I said, man, with all due respect, I know you want to be of service to people, but you have a stone cold drinking problem. You're under arrest for DUI. Like, you might want to focus on that first. Because these negative coping mechanisms, you can only be as successful as these things allow you to be. And most of them don't allow you to be successful at all. So you ended up in a mental prison where there's things you want to do, but this negative coping mechanism takes precedent. So just let's focus on the thing that you have to overcome, which is right now you're under arrest for DUI. You have a drinking problem. And the Lord has sent me, which is what I always tell people, the Lord has sent me not as someone to ruin your life, but not everybody gets this intervention, this reminder. Because I don't chastise you for it. I'm not here to make you feel bad about it. Hey, all I ever say is the Lord's trying to tell you something. I don't know what it is. The Lord is trying to tell you something. He just sent me to let you know he's trying to tell you something because you apparently wasn't listening to what else he said or however else he presented it to you. Be yourself, right? Don't be freaked out. When we talked about it, don't be freaked out. Don't worry about the next step after the step that you're currently dealing with. Work with the steps that you are. Put your focus there. Almosawi, did I say that right? Almosawi, I appreciate you being here. I really do. I appreciate everybody that's here. If you're just now getting in, this is our Black Friday Police Academy Prep oral interview, live review. We are talking about how to prepare for this interview, how to answer some of these questions. It's also the grand release of the Hughes Initiative Academy, and also we dropped the Police Academy Blueprint today. 7 p.m. is when it started. I've had y'all here with me over 2 hours, and I love it. Go to the school platform, SKOOL. Top comment is pinned. Put that into your web browser. Get in, 7-day free trial. Check it out. If you're late getting in here, late to class, come on now. Come on, if you're late to class, let us know what step of the process you're in, where you're at, how you're feeling, what your concerns are. Get over into the Hughes Initiative Academy hosted on the school platform so we can dive deeper and talk further about it. Inside of there are different topics that we can talk about. Put your comment in the appropriate topic, whether it's general discussion, interview, written, oral, PT, med psych, background, polygraph, whatever. Put it in there. Let's get started talking about it, because today is the day that the Lord sent you to me and me to you to help you, to guide you through this process, to ultimately find success and to ultimately get you to dominate your first year as a cop. If you ain't got this, you don't know what you're missing. It's in the TikTok shop right now. Go and get you a copy. What's inside the Police Academy Blueprint, if you're wondering, when it comes to oral interviews? English and Spanish for my Spanish-speaking people. English and Spanish will be there. The formula, real panel questions, high-risk scenario prep, disqualifying mistakes, which we talk about some, mock interviews. Here's also what I'm offering inside of there. You know I love to give. I love to give. You see the Jack Skellington Santa hat on. I love to give. I'm offering mock interviews with me. Meaning you come dressed in your interview clothes, sit down with me, and we will run through a mock interview. And we will talk about the strengths and weaknesses and how you can best prepare for yours. And then when you pass your oral interview, you come back and you let our community know that it went well. right? I'm offering you the one-on-one mock interviews with your boy RC. Come on now. #1 police educator in the world. I ain't got to tell you. Y'all been here 2 hours. You know what it is. We offer this inside the Police Academy Blueprint. Y'all see me in the classroom. I don't make this stuff up. This ain't no Photoshop. That's a real picture. I'm in the academies. I speak to police academy cadets. My goal is to help you get into one of these classrooms. You got to get in here. But there's a process. And I'll guide you through the process. You see the URL right there for the Hughes Initiative Academy. Go and get in there. I'm telling you. And if you have not, we're going to go back to it, to get on the email list. Because we're going to be doing calls as a group together inside the Hughes Initiative Academy. But you got to get on the email list. But you got to download the free PDF, which is on the website, www.hi-teachers.com. On the homepage, download the PDF, fill out the Google survey, let us know where you are in the step of the process, how you feeling. These live reviews that I'm doing are based off of what you all tell me. You tell me that you're struggling with the anxiety of the oral interview. This is what you're telling me. So this is what we talk about. I don't want to talk about something y'all not concerned about. Like, I could come up with a bunch of these on my own. I have a bunch of them waiting, but like, no. Let's talk about what you want to talk about. We talk about physical fitness. We talk about oral interviews. We talk about the PT. I know y'all want to talk about backgrounds in the polygraph. We breaking down the math. We breaking down the grammar, the English. All of that stuff is inside the Hughes Initiative Academy, inside the Police Academy Blueprint, right here. This stuff like this, you find it in there. The live reviews, they're right here. This is where they are. Right here, right above you, right above me, right here. Website scrolling, www.school.com/HI Academy. Come on, get in. I'll leave you with this. This is very personal to me. When I first thought about becoming a police officer in 2007, I talked myself out of it. I talked myself completely out of it. Just graduated from college, best shape of my life, criminal justice degree, 22 years old. But I said then, I don't know what the process is like. Am I even good enough? Would they even want me? I wasted so many years because I didn't have a clear path and I didn't have a coach to walk me through it. There was police forums from all over the place with people giving a bunch of different random information. I don't want that for you. This is why I created the Hughes Initiative. This is why I've created the Police Academy Blueprint. This is why I've created the Hughes Initiative Academy. This is why I've created the Hughes Initiative Academy. I want the path to be made clear. I make it plain because I don't want you to waste any time. A lot of this hesitation comes from not knowing what it looks like. But action without not knowing what it looks like is the definition of faith. Yes? Yes? You trust in what the Lord is telling you and you keep walking forward even though you don't know what it looks like. I'm telling you again from lived experience. When I started this thing, I did not think at this point this is what I would be doing. I never envisioned this. I never envisioned it. But here we are. Do not waste time worrying about what it looks like when the information and the coach and the path is right in front of you here with the Hughes Initiative. Which boy RC, the Hughes Initiative Academy, which is the host platform, school is the host platform for the Police Academy Blueprint. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been fun, always. 2 hours here. 2 hours here with your boy RC as we did our oral interview prep for the oral interview step in the Police Academy process. Again, I want to join you all for thanking me. Again, the Hughes Initiative Academy, hosted on the school platform, 7-day free trial. This is where the Police Academy Blueprint is. This is where the ear model is. This is where these live reviews are. If you have not already got your physical copy of Dominate Your First Year as a Cop, you have to go to the TikTok shop, because that's where it is. That's where it is. That's where it lives. Again, I want to thank you all for joining me. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know I did, for the first time ever in life. Me and my sister. Well, my sister. I won't even take credit for it. We brought both sides of our family together for the first time in life. A magical, magical, magical event that we had together. First time. Right? It's about new experiences and creating them and taking the steps to make them happen. Becoming a police officer, a new experience. You take the steps to make it happen. I will help you. I will guide you. I want to thank you all for joining me. Please enjoy the rest of your evening. Make the best of the rest of your weekend. And I will see you next Thursday at noon with our Police Academy Blueprint, with our Hughes Initiative Police Academy Prep Training. Go download the PDF so you can get on the email list. You got to get on the email list so that you know what next week is about, so you can prepare yourself. Every Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only here on TikTok with your boy RC. Thank you all for coming through. I will see you next time.